The second part of this module is the guidelines and procedures per disaster. First off, the topic is earthquake. Earthquake is a disaster that is almost difficult to predict. It may happen anytime and anywhere. Take for example what happened on 16th of July 1990. A killer quake of various intensities in different locations hit many places in Luzon without warning, which wrought havoc in terms of injuries, loss of lives and destruction of properties. Here are some guidelines for earthquake preparedness. No need to evacuate except when there is fire or evacuation order. If there are evacuation orders, do not re-enter buildings without instruction from DCO. There are possible aftershocks after the main quake. Patient influx and fire disaster plans shall be immediately implemented. Staff should take cover under sturdy tables or desks and hold. Stay away from chemicals, glass, windows, or anything that may fall. If outdoor, stay away from buildings, street light, and utility wires. Above all, stay calm to have a presence of mind. Remember, drop, cover, and hold. After the shaking, all employees must conduct ocular inspection to check for structural damages and call facilities through local 6150 or 6151 for any noticeable damages. Additionally, the disaster recovery checklist must be filled out and submitted to facilities. Then after, immediately call the safety hotline local number 8777 to inform that your department is safe. In the event that a fire was spotted during ocular inspection after an earthquake, we follow the fire disaster preparedness plan. First off, the basic elements of fire. Fire happens when the following elements: heat, oxygen, and fuel combine together and create a chemical reaction between them. This visual representation is also called the tetrahedron of fire. But how does fire spread? One way is through radiation. By definition, radiation is the transfer of heat in a space. Have you ever wondered why firefighters extinguish the adjacent houses? They do that to avoid the spread of fire. Next is by convection. Convection is defined as the transfer of heat by the physical movement of hot masses of air. This is why we repeatedly teach everyone to always head downwards to get outside to a safer area. Last is conduction. Conduction is the spread of fire through direct contact between materials. An example would be when fire direct touches floor above and below its level. So now, how do we extinguish the fire? As fire is primarily a chemical reaction, removing one or more of the three elements of fire will prevent the chemical reaction from taking place. As one of the key elements of fire is oxygen. We can use the method of blanketing or smothering, wherein a fire-resistant blanket is often used to eliminate or deplete the oxygen to a level below 16%. Next methodology is by removing the heat generated by the fire. A popular way to do is by cooling or quenching using a fire extinguisher or water. A different approach to extinguish fire is to remove the fuel. Technically, a gas fire will immediately extinguish if the gas supply is cut off. Similarly, a raging fire will burn itself out if it runs out of flammable materials. To ensure the safety of everyone inside the hospital, here are some fire guidelines to remember. Our building is structurally designed to withstand fire for a maximum of 2 hours. Only tagged records and documents shall be evacuated by the units during fire. During a fire, all elevators will automatically land at the ground floor. However, if the system detects that the fire is at the ground floor, elevators will land at the 3rd floor. All critically ill patients shall be placed in the refuge area at the service elevator lobby on their floor. All ambulatory patients shall be directed to the fire exit leading to the ground floor or basement 1. Local disaster response teams or LDRT team captains shall be responsible in ensuring fire safety in their respective units. In case of fire, 1. Know your fire exits. This is the safest area during a fire because it is pressurized. 2. Know the location of the fire extinguishers in your area. 3. Call operator by dialing local 4 to alarm the GDRT. 4. When staff hears code red, it means total evacuation. It will announce 3 times. 5. During evacuation, all must proceed to designated area, B1 and GF. These are the 2 exit points. 6. Everybody should be aware who the LDRT members are for the particular shift or day. And 7. All staff should know how to use fire extinguisher. PASS stands for pull the pin, aim low at the base of the flames, squeeze the lever, sweep side to side. Employees assigned to these roles must be familiar with their responsibilities. In any disaster, the communicator or team captain calls the operator and informs of type the disaster and exact location of affected area. Goes to the affected area and assesses the situation. Activates and informs LDRT team members of the action plan and, if necessary, declares a local evacuation. Next member is the Disaster Management Member 1. He is responsible for getting the nearest fire extinguisher and going to the affected area to determine origin of fire. Initially puts off the fire using the fire extinguisher. Upon arrival of LDRT communicator team captain. Informs of assessment of fire. Upon arrival of GDRT fire brigade group. Assists in firefighting and, if fire brigade team is complete, goes to station and collects patient charts for evacuation. The Disaster Management Member 2 is responsible for going to the nursing station and closing the oxygen valve, informing the evacuation traffic team member 2 that oxygen valve has been closed and requests to get medical gas cylinder flask for patients on pipeline oxygen. Goes to the affected area and gets nearest fire extinguisher, puts off the fire, if sprinkler is already working, closes the door, and assists in evacuating the patients. The responsibilities of the evacuation traffic member 1 are: goes to the affected area, knocks on the left side of the affected area, and informs patients to stay in their room, directs patients to the designated exit area, reports to communicator team captain and gets next instruction. If objective is total evacuation, starts evacuation, and directs patients to designated exit or refuge area. The last member is the evacuation traffic member 2. His or her responsibilities are: goes to the affected area, knocks on the right side of the affected area, directs patients to the designated exit area, reports to communicator team captain and gets next instruction, receives instructions from 2 marks regarding medical gas cylinder flasks, retrieves medical gas cylinder flasks, and attaches oxygen to patient. If objective is total evacuation, starts evacuation, and directs patients to designated exit or refuge area. Know the different fire exits in TMC. We have 2 exit points in every floor. For podium, we have stairwell exits 1 and 7. For nursing tower 1, stairwell exits 2 and 6. For nursing tower 2, stairwell exits 5 and 3. And, for Mahdi building, we have fire exits 4 and 1. We're now done with the earthquake and fire disaster preparedness plan. On the next part, we will tackle typhoon, patient influx, bomb threat, hostage taking and chemical spill.